All right. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. Can someone give me a heads up or a yes or a thumbs up in the chat if you can? Great. Thank you. All right. Hi, everyone. I am Amanda Joyce. I am the CyberForce Competition Director. I work here at Argonne National Laboratory in the Chicago area. I've been working with the Department of Energy and Argonne and on the CyberForce competition since its inception in 2016. So I have a lot of historical knowledge on the pros, on the cons, and all the things in between. So I'm here today to kind of run through the basics of it for those that have participated, for those that have not participated, and kind of go through some very quick understandings of this year, but largely we'll go through a Q&A next month for anyone that has questions on what will be occurring for 2022. Let's make sure I've got this set up correctly. So for those who don't know what my face looks like, since I hate putting a camera on, that's me and that's my beautiful dog, Mo. Since he's my best friend. I want to quickly acknowledge that the competition is never possible without the support of the Department of Energy's Office of Cybersecurity, Energy Security, and Emergency Response, in short, the CSER office, along with many of the other Department of Energy offices that assist with this initiative. So what is the CyberForce competition? So it's a collegiate event. It's provided to do a cyber physical, hands-on, realistic, energy-based scenario, largely meant to secure and defend that energy-based system, which incorporates lifelike constraints, tasks, actual end users, and continual emerging threats. I know that was a lot to take in. So in short, some of you may have participated in things like CCDC, things like Capture the Flags or CTS. We take elements of those and elevate them to a much broader, bigger event and bring them ideally in a great world all together in person and really make you look at what it is like to be a cyber analyst, an IT administrator for an energy-based company for their operational technology systems, all while also having to handle everything else that you have throughout the day. And that means meetings, that means having to handle tasks that your boss brings in, everything else that's going on. So nothing is just as simple as looking at your computer screen and making sure that the bad guys aren't getting into your systems. Everything else is going to get flying at you. And obviously the goal of CyberForce, and not just the competition, but the whole entire CyberForce program, is really to build the pipeline of qualified candidates for crucial positions in the energy sector, national laboratories, and industry as a whole. The goal of this, because CyberForce is built against the NIST framework, is really to provide you as students, as faculty members at universities, that ability to be able to go back with your students or to be able to take students, your ability to go on your resume or to a job interview and say, I did really well at X, Y, and Z, and here is either proof, here's validation, or even if maybe you have something that you weren't so great at, you have something to go back and say, I want to get better at X, Y, and Z. So if your goal is to become a forensics analyst, and maybe you didn't do so well in an area in which that's has forensic skill set, you can go back and say, I want to better that skill. Or maybe you're performing or wanting a job in a particular cybersecurity analyst position, and you did really well in that area. you can have and show that this is where my team and I did really well in. So some background. So for people who want to really understand kind of how we handle our communication structure, I use a lot of colors. So again, feel free in the chat to stop me if I get too out of a line here. Blue team, when we talk about blue team, we're talking about defenders, and that's students. And so students are ones that register as teams. You register as a team from your university. US-based institutions come together and you participate as the defenders. Red team are our attackers, and those are volunteers. Those are individual participants who come in and they act as your malicious actors in here. White team is your administrators, and those are typically those folks who come from the national laboratories, and we're the ones that are building out the infrastructure for you ahead of time. Green team are your users, and those are also volunteers in an individual basis, and those are your actual real live users that are testing the usability, the availability of your systems in real time. So instead of having scripts that are running to test that things are up and running or whatnot, we actually have real people throughout the day logging in and testing and making sure that things are working, that they make sense, that an actual regular user would be able to do. The orange team is our C-suite, and I'll get further into explaining what that is in a little bit later, but our C-suite is ultimately your senior executives that you'll be having to pitch ideas to and talk to in regards to either a situation or trying to ask for money or whatever the scenario is for this year. And pink team, to your question here, Jeffrey, is not entirely new. It is for those that are only used to a virtual setting for 2020 or 2021. In 2019, we did have one in person at Argonne, but our pink team is our red team trainees. So pink team, when we were in person, is those that were, again, it was entirely based on a registration process, but those that were interested in learning the red team ways, we had kind of a course / review of what red team does, and then we kind of did an over the shoulder review of what red team did on the day of. So kind of a very abridged, abbreviated kind of red team without them really doing a red team on the ground. So that's kind of the background of understanding all these great many arrows that you see here. Back and forth, everyone's kind of communicating. As you can see, blue team really is talking to everyone. It doesn't look like blue team really communicates with the white team. It's not really truthful. You do obviously communicate with everyone, but there's obvious more formal channels for all of it. So some historical view, as I mentioned, we're going into our, let me quick answer some questions. So how would a non-competing student apply to a member of a pink team? So once we figure out identifying exactly how we're handling some of these teams, such as pink team this year, we'll get more information out to you in regards to how you could apply for something like that. So as I mentioned, we are on the 8th iteration of the competition, which if all of you do the math, you kind of wonder, how do you get 8 when you started in 2016? And so as we run through all of that, the historical view here in 2016, actually the competition started here just at Argonne National Laboratory, which is that black little star here, which we're just outside of Chicago in Lamont, Illinois, about 30 minutes from O'Hare or Midway, if you want to do some ticks there. We had just some universities out of Illinois and Iowa. We started the competition actually in the springtime, which for any of you that do participate, any of the other major competitions, CCDC tends to fall right around that same time for either regionals or nationals. And so we learned that very quickly, it was a terrible time for many people. So after a few iterations, we changed things up. In 2017, it still was just at Argonne. We added a handful of other states in there. In April of 2018, we added 2 other labs, which was Pacific Northwest National Laboratory in Washington and Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. And as you can see, we start to spread out. We got really crazy in December of 2018 and added 4 other national laboratories to the 3. So we hit 7 and we continued to spread. In 2019, we go even bigger. Go big or go home is what we like to say. We had 10 labs across, and we captured a good amount of the United States along with Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, the pandemic hits. I think all of us got a little upset. I personally really do enjoy this competition in person. 2020 hit. We obviously moved the competition to a virtual setting. And in 2020, we did something a little different, and we tried doing the competition as an individual competition. So this actually does represent those individuals for their institutions, but they were by themselves. What I did take away from that was, while there were some people that did enjoy doing it individually, a great abundance of them still felt like this was a better opportunity and a better experience when they worked on it as a team. So we moved it back to team and virtual in 2021. So this is what we looked like in 2021. So overarching, I'm a colorful person. So this is kind of color of state is their first time they've participated, and colors represent based on the first year. So as you can see, we've hit up a good majority of the states. Obviously, if you're friends with some of those that don't have a color in them yet, hopefully you can rock on and join us here in 2022, where our color will be a dark gunmetal gray for 2022. Why I picked that color, I don't know. I just pick random colors every year. Anyways, so what exactly for scenarios do we build? So as I mentioned, CyberForce is energy specific. So every year we build an energy driven scenario. So in 2016, it was very general and electricity based. In 2017, we did water and electricity. In April of 2018, we did natural gas. 2018, in December, we tried to do, or essentially we tried, but we did oil and high power computing. In 2019 was when we did a supply chain, or kind of a dependency chain between 4 different sectors, which was solar, substation, high performance computing, and manufacturing. So not everyone got all 4 of them. So all of the teams were divided. So a fourth of them got solar, a fourth of them got a substation, a fourth of them got HPC, and a fourth of them got manufacturing. And then throughout the competition, you kind of were reliant on third or 3/4 of the rest of the group. In 2020, we did wind. In 2021, we did hydropower. And here in 2022, we're going to go back to solar. Since it was just part of that dependency chain, we want to kind of focus our energies back on some of that renewable energy resources. And so this year, we're going to go back to solar. So how does CyberForce score in comparison to potentially some of the other things that you may see? So a few things to be thinking about. CyberForce is slightly different in some of, again, the other competitions you may know, is that there is pre-competition workup. I guess we'll utilize that word. We provide students that are participating their environments typically 3 weeks prior to the actual competition day. Their environments. So when I say our competition is on November 4th and 5th, it does not mean that you just get your environment on the 4th and 5th. It means that you'll get your environment in mid-October. And quite frankly, you're almost, I don't want to use the word expected, but really, we hope that you start looking at your environment by the time you get that, because there is pre-competition scored material come that very week before the competition. It will be due into us so that by the time you start the competition on the 4th and 5th, you already have a score in. So what does that all mean? And we'll run through this all here again. Mid-October, and again, I don't have a date in front of me because I don't like to be held to dates 100% on these calls because things can slip. But by mid-October, you'll receive your environment from us when you are selected as a team. And then once you get that, you are welcomed and asked to go through it and then find the vulnerabilities, fix the vulnerabilities, add in new services, either create the services that have not been created for you. You can add new servers as long as you only create up to the numbers that we are allowed to do. So if we make you 7 servers and we're allowing you 9, you can make 2 new servers. You are welcomed to do whatever you'd like as long as it's within the rules. If you have questions on that, when you get your rules overview and scoring manual for 2022, you're welcome to email the help desk on questions. Otherwise, pre-competition stuff in there. Ultimately, the reason why I say look through all of that, document it, is because as you can see further on down here when I get to it, we talk about some of our pre-competition stuff. So let's get back to the 5 main scoring categories. The first one is red team. Obviously, it makes a lot of sense. So we talk about the exploitability of vulnerabilities, the vulnerabilities introduced in the build outs, and then sportsmanship. So red team is scored in kind of 2 main categories. They handle that via an actual communication channel with you where they will ask you to find a vulnerability that they have, and then they will ask you to explain to them how you found it, and then explain to you how you would fix it, either via screenshots, via how you handled the situation or whatnot. They will provide hints and whatnot, and then they score you based on that. And then they also have a scoring mechanism in which they do your regular red teaming of pen testing. And then throughout that, there's an understanding of sportsmanship. So if you have issues and, there's, just general, like this is, dumb or whatever, like red team takes into account the sportsmanship that you have. Blue team scoring is your service uptime. Are you keeping the services that we're asking of you up and running? So those are things like DNS, things like SMTP. If we ask for a particular service in our scoring system, in our scoreboard, you'll be required to input that service, the IP that we're requiring that service to be on. And if we need it to have a sign-in for it, you'll be required to put in those credentials. Green team tests the usability. And that's when, like I mentioned, you'll have a user actually go in and test. While we've been virtual, we've been having green team actually test your website. And so we provide you a website, hint, hint, it's typically messed up. And we tell you in the rules and scoring, this is exactly what they're going to be looked at. And so it'll be a misspelling, or your links will be broken, or your header on a web page will be, telling you that you're working at Argonne when it really should say that you're working at Berkeley National Laboratory. Something simple as that. And what you want to do is literally run through those use cases and make sure that what someone else is going to do, you can do 100% accurately, because that's what they test on, just as simply as you can. So if we say they need to be logged in 1 time, that you can log in 1 time. White team, which again, as I mentioned, is the national labs, we test on security documentation. That's a pre-competition turn-in. So we usually ask for that during the week prior to the competition. Why? Because it's a lot. And again, as I mentioned, There's a lot of teams potentially this year between, as I have alluded to, we have a potential to have a lot of in-person and virtual teams. So we want to be mindful that all of our very great volunteers and National Lab staff have plenty of time to give you guys, mindful feedback of it all. So we ask for that ahead of time. So that's why we also ask that you all take the time to really look at what you have and think through what you want to provide. And we provide templates for all of this too. So we are also equally mindful that you are in school, and that's obviously your main priority as well. So we try to be as mindful and helpful for you as well. Then we have information sharing or incident reporting. So throughout the day, again, we kind of ask for you all to either provide some sort of information sharing or incident reporting, which will give you some points. So, hey, something happened in XYZ. I wanted to provide some sort of information on what happened to my team, and you get some points for it, or an incident report. And then a C-suite panel brief of a pre-competition. So in in-person years, in 2019 and prior, we used to have where you would have to step away from your team. One person from your team would have to step away and provide some sort of, we'll use the word pitch, to your C-suite panel. Since the pandemic, we've moved to kind of a video, a pre-recorded video, and we'll continue to do that moving forward, just because, again, of sheer numbers. But what this will do is, as a team, you'll work through providing a pre-recorded video to, again, a small scenario where you'll record and work through how you would respond or provide some sort of feedback to the C-suite in regards to either there was a breach, or you're being asked to provide some sort of pitch to get new funding, new money, an updated budget, some sort of thing. And that will be asked to be submitted on behalf of your team. Before I move forward, I do see that there's a question, so let me do something real fast. So each team gives points to our school team for a cumulative score, or each team color scores independently and scores against each other. Joe, I'm not really certain, but I think I'm gonna guess that. So each of these colors, and I'm just saying, like, I don't want you to get stuck on being the color teams here, but that's just kind of how they will look in the scoreboard for you, is ultimately that you get one score, one total score. It's just that there's multiple categories under the scores. Correct, Joe. You do enter as a blue team, but just these are scoring categories. So at the end of the day, you'll get 5 main categories under one score. So I guess yeah, perfect. All right, hopefully that answered it. If not, we can circle back. And then finally, anomaly scores. Those are your real world challenges and tasks. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and you all can quote me if I'm wrong, I am not from the CCDC world. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times here, though. I believe anomalies are purple color for them in that kind of arena. But for us, they are our real world challenges and tasks. And that to us is, we'll provide a forensics file and ask you to find whom logged in the most since Mary left. Or we'll provide a recent image and ask you to find what's hidden in it. Maybe we provide your cryptography file. Maybe it's something as simple as your manager asked you to step out for a meeting for them. And so someone has to step out of, the quote unquote, becomes inactive for 30 minutes. Ultimately, the anomalies are what takes us away from our everyday job, and we get points for those. I guess I'm not seeing any questions, but we will take questions till the end. So if you have questions, feel free. So to go further into anomalies, just because I know that sometimes people have questions on those. So anomalies are the challenges meant to pull attention away, as I just stated. They're typically in a 5-pronged goal. So we try to expose students to real world challenges that may occur within the field of information security. We're supporting the red team with added exploits. So anomalies also will be added into your industrial control systems, added into the environments and whatnot to aid students into understanding more of the field. It measures your ability to solve a variety of technical problems. And again, all of these are mapped to the NIST-NICE framework. It simulates a real world network where administrators may not be able to focus on monitoring systems due to an overload of challenges or workloads. It provides management or task coordination roles that successful teams would need to select and prioritize. And ultimately, it takes a look at strengths and weaknesses among the team. So ultimately, quite frankly, at the end of the day, as a team, you really are going to have to take a look at what is a priority at the time in which you're working on, whom on your team has a strength, and even not even just the anomalies, but in your scoring. So if your email server is on fire, whom on your team is the best person to deal with that? Whom on your team would be the best person to deal with a mathematics problem? Who on your team is a great speaker that could talk about, to a C-suite panel person? Do you have someone on your team that's a great writer? Because security documentation has writing to do with it. So taking a look at who actually has great strengths and weaknesses, really providing a coordination to make a successful team is a key element to it. So the C-suite panel, to go more in depth for it, it really, I will explain very quickly why this is in here. I am a background in business, so this aids to the heart in me, is we talk about the technical aspects, the OT network and whatnot. We have anomalies that bring into the effect of ensuring that all the other tasks that we do run around. We have the security documentation that you'll see in a minute here again with the writing, but we didn't really have anyone that was doing the talking. Like, how do we ensure that we all know that we're talking the same language? And at the end of the day, bringing this back to the top, so we need to make sure we understand that when we are talking in our community, that we understand our jargon, but not always does before, when this was the CISO panel, but the C-suite doesn't always understand our jargon. So making sure we're relating and our information that we want to talk to people about in an understandable manner is the best method moving forward. So the C-suite panel allows your team to experience having to explain a real world problem or example, challenge, whatever the case is, to senior level management. And at times that could be, again, asking, how do I get more money? Something happened and it's terrifying. I need to explain that to my COO that, we just got breached and this is a big deal. And somehow I don't want to be fired or whatever the case is, but like, I need to articulate that this is what needs to happen and this is how it needs to happen without going into all of this is where it happened, this is how it happened, and all of the, shorthand that we could probably utilize. So it's really thinking through the end goals of what senior leadership is really going to care about. And that's typically done through, as I mentioned, a recording now, typically no longer than 5 minutes. It's fairly short. Again, we're getting to like the top elevator speech, bullet points for students. And then again, we provide feedback for everyone on those. Usability. So usability, what's the old saying? And I don't know if anyone really remembers this. Maybe I'm just the only old person around here anymore. is the most secure computer is actually turned off and buried 6 feet under the ground. Unfortunately, none of us can do that anymore. So the goal for us is honestly to balance usability with security. Implementing 10 passwords in a row within 30 seconds is just not usable. None of us can probably do that. I know I probably can't even do that because I get distracted. Probably after 3 passwords, I would never be able to finish it. But implementing something like dual authentication to 2 different mechanisms is likely something that everyone does already. So it's completely done. So being mindful of if you're going to implement something on your computers for the green team users in your settings, to be mindful that it needs to have some balance of usability. Expecting them to remember random passwords that are 35 characters long is a bit complex if they didn't have a password manager. So just be mindful that this is an average Joe signing into a system and not, a senior IT administrator that's regularly utilizing a password manager. So just being mindful and thinking through some of that. Documentation, everyone's second favorite thing to do. So the goal is to make, again, holistic defenders. If you haven't hated me yet, based on my let's all talk, now everyone loves me because I say, let's make everyone right. So besides talking and having to think through, like, how do we, why can't everyone just use 35 character passwords? Now you got to write why you're doing something and why you're doing it. So document everything you're doing. And when I say everything, I mean everything. The more the merrier, in my opinion. Part of understanding what you're building and why you're building it is ensuring that others then can quickly pick up where you left off. There's nothing worse than starting at a company and you get there and you say, do you have documentation on why this is like this or how this is implemented? And someone says, no, or I'm not sure. Or even if they say yes, and you look at it and you go, but this hasn't been updated in 10 years. And I can tell you the operating systems aren't even the same anymore. There's nothing worse than you have to just figure it out yourself. So ultimately, the goal of this documentation is really to get you to understand that the benefit and value, if for nothing else, is for you to understand what you're doing yourself. And then to really remember that, like, you're benefiting someone else later on. You're training yourself to train someone else later. So this, again, is done prior to the competition, and it's going to be done in a template just for ease of scoring, but also, again, provide you feedback so you don't forget anything. And ultimately, again, your hard work won't be deleted. You'll know exactly what you need to get done, and ultimately, hopefully, everything will be super easy. I don't want to forget anyone who's on the call that isn't a student. I want to bring up some volunteer opportunities. So for those that are on here, or even if you are a student and you're like, I'm not certain I actually have a team to participate in or whatnot, we have technical, non-technical, and other opportunities available. In a technical realm, we have the red team. And again, we've talked about them already. This team is the individuals that typically have a more technical background, and they play the role of, quote unquote, hackers. Their primary goal is to disrupt the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the blue team networks. We have various opportunities available pre-competition days, from practicing, building out vulnerabilities, etc. There is a heavy red team gatherings on Discord and whatnot for CyberForce that they are more than willing to work with people that are interested in doing it. But obviously, that there has to be a want there. Minimally, red team needs to be available on November 4th and 5th. And that's for setup whether virtual or in person. And then also on the 5th, obviously, to actually do the competition. So roughly you're looking at 16 hours. We do provide continual professional educational credits for doing it. On the technical side, on the green team, obviously you play the role of a typical business user. You can have various levels of skill, really need to just know how to be able to work a computer. You're in charge of testing your usability and availability. Need to just be available on November 5th. Typically the commitment is 2 hours. We do ask if you're available more in the morning hours or in the afternoon, and then we provide the volunteer with a list of teams to test, and then you kind of work at your availability. And then we have the scoring opportunities, which is the documentation or the C-suite panel. Again, both are roughly the same, just if you have something that's more your security centric and you'd like to love reading documentation, or if you prefer to be listening or watching the C-suite panel videos, there's a training session in October for both. And then typically that week of Halloween, leading right up to the competition, there's some grading of various either documentation or the panels, which are both roughly 16 hours. Otherwise, if you're on the call and you are working for a company or interested, we do sponsorships of all of this, because obviously without them, they would not, the competition itself would not be the way it is. So last year we had a various amount of sponsors that helped with the competition, from Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, Barcode, too many others in the actual energy industry, from ComEd, the EISAC, Exelon, and American Public Power Association, to Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. So what's next? I think that's what everyone cares about most, right? So the next CyberForce competition is November 4th and 5th of 2022. I know everyone questions, why does it always look like it's 2 days? Competition itself is on the 5th. It is an 8-hour competition, runs from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. The 4th, though, is a setup day, and whether you are virtual or in person, you will be required to check in with the red team to ensure that you are all set up. So there will be some sort of requirement on the 4th. Remember, I like to remind, and this year I ensure I called it out, there is prep work that is required prior to the competition, prior to many other competitions. This is not a show up on the 4th or 5th and just start looking at your environment. The amount of time that you put into the competition is equal to what you get out of it. So showing up on the 4th and 5th and just kind of somewhat doing something with it, you'll ultimately not feel like you got a lot out of it. But if you put some time into it, and I'm not saying hundreds of hours, because I want to emphasize, I know you all are in school and that really does, that's your #1 goal. But just taking some time to look through it and understand what's there really does provide a benefit at the end of the day. Hybrid option. As of today, July 13th, 2022 at 6:42 p.m. Central Time, there is a hybrid option. So, and as I mentioned, Q&A on all this will be next month, but I will answer what I can while we have time left. We will have an in-person option, which will be right here in the state of Illinois, just outside of the Chicago area in St. Charles, Illinois, at the Q Center. That's Q, the letter. It'll be in person. We will also be offering a virtual option for those that either are unable to attend in person or don't feel comfortable attending in person. So when you register, your form will ask you for your preference of in-person or virtual. That is for both the student teams as well as volunteers. Registration is now open. I know the next question that I will typically be asked is, when does registration close? And I don't quite have an answer for you yet. It's not going to be tomorrow. And that means more or less, I have not decided how late I will keep it open. So that means the later, the better. I know I had offered an earlier date in August. It'll likely stay open through September, early-ish. But again, you will also get an email from me before that closes. So don't feel like I will surprise close the registration on you. A reminder again, this is a team competition. So I think there's been a little bit of confusion because we do host several different types of competitions under the CyberForce program. So the next competition that we are running is the RAIN competition. That's an individual one. CyberForce competition will stay a team competition. So this is a team competition coming up. So you will need to register as a team. So when you get in there, you'll need to register for minimally 4 students. So what else is happening? August 10th, save it on your calendars. Tomorrow you'll be able to already register for the Q&A, but CyberForce competition Q&A. You have questions on what to expect for the next competition, you can join us to ask your questions. Upon registering for the webinar, you'll be able to input questions if you have them already, if you want to stay anonymous or whatnot in them, as well as you can ask questions throughout the webinar. They'll be available. Does anyone have questions now? There is a thing in there that says, the former participant advice, be super careful not to delete your entire network by mistake during the setup phase, or at least back everything up before you do. But is there any questions from anyone that I can answer today? Is registration and different for virtual versus in-person? I don't have an answer yet for that, Joe. It may have a different end date, but once we get an idea of where we stand with numbers for both of those, I will have a better understanding of whether they will both close at the same time or not. So the individual RAIN, and that's REIGN, is in like the crown competition. That's actually August 6th, and that is closed for registration. Those participants are limited to university participants still, and that one will be a virtual or 2D virtual escape room that is being done. So that registration closed, but again, presumably if we are still able to handle all of the in-person, the RAIN competition will be available for people to at least take a test drive of at the in-person CyberForce competition on that Friday. Lori, it's surprising to see none labs. The choice was made to try out as a beta test to see if we could do a large, one large site versus doing a scatter across the United States. So, but unfortunately with the pandemic, we still wanted to ensure that everyone felt safe. So that's why the virtual options still held. Technically, all the labs are still participating. They just aren't quote unquote hosting. Walkers, RAIN, the event going to have public labs for people to try. So as I mentioned, the RAIN event will be available for people to try at CyberForce in person. And we'll likely take a look at what else we can utilize it to offer. I don't know if it'll be public though. Any other questions? Alrighty, well, thank you all for joining. Again, I want to give a shout out. There's a volunteer registration and regular team registration is open. You can find that all at cyberforce.energy.gov. I know we've changed our web address, but again, if you end up going to cyberforcecompetition.com, it'll just redirect you. So you should be all good either way. If you need anything, feel free to email cyberforcecompetition@anl.gov and we can get everything answered for you. I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you.